What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Skull Nation channel. Let's get started with the NFL draft. The first round was yesterday, and the Vikings picked Mike Hughes, cornerback out of the University of Central Florida. I mean, for what he is, he's a very solid prospect. He's got great athleticism. He's got great feet, great hands, great instincts. He has some work to do really with his tackling. He tends to do a lot of body shots instead of wrapping up, which is you can get away with that in college. You can't really get away with that in the pros. I think that another thing he needs, needs more experience. He only had one true year at UCF after all of his past issues with North Carolina and being dismissed there for a fight that occurred at a frat house. Minor stuff in the grand scheme of things. I think it's going to take some time to really get him up to speed. A lot of people, especially Spielman and Zimmer, think he's going to play a lot of nickel, which I think is going to push Mackenzie Alexander. And maybe he could even push Trey Waynes because, well, Waynes is in the final year of his contract. Or maybe we put Alexander on the outside and hopefully he does better there, which, I mean, why not? He played that in college. But Mike Hughes was rated number 5 prospect according to Pro Football Focus. I think one reason that he was on the top of the board for the Vikings at 30 was there's one big factor Mike Zimmer hasn't been able to forgive himself for is what happened in the NFC title game. The Vikings were consistently burned going with the deep ball. And that is what Mike Hughes did very well. He was thrown at 14 times of passes over 20 yards and only one completion. That was for only 21 yards. That was the longest completion he had. And he had 3 interceptions beyond 20 yards. Quarterback rating of 0. That's a big deal. Now, my only concern about that is, does that really help a guy who's going to be playing a lot of slot coverage? I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that. But overall, I like the pick. I more wish Willie Hernandez would have been the pick. I think he would have been a better pick there. I think we still need upgrades of the offensive line. I think what they're more looking for is that they can get guys in the later rounds. So we're going into day 2 of the draft. I've heard rumors right now from Viking sources that they're going to be focusing on offensive line. Now, will they do that in the 2nd or 3rd round? I guess it will depend on who's there. Honestly, right at this point, I really hope it's either defensive line or offensive line, 2nd and 3rd round. I think we can address some depth issues that we need. We need a defensive tackle, or I'll even take a defensive end at this point. Some key guys that that I think the Vikings are going to be looking into are Tyler Crosby, offensive tackle out of Oregon, Brian O'Neill, offensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, Orlando Brown, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, which I really don't want him. He reminds me too much of Phil Lowell, and that's not a compliment. Or even like a Braden Smith, a guard out of Auburn. I think more tackles are going to be available at this point, which could mean that Remmers is going to move back over to left guard, which played very well down the stretch. So I would like to see that more. I think the linebacker position can be addressed later in the draft. There's a lot of guys who will be available around round 5 or 6. Like a Jack Sitchie out of Wisconsin who can come in and contribute immediately. So that's where I think the Vikings are going to be right now. Let me know what kind of position you want to see in rounds 2 and 3 in the comments down below. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more videos, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on my new Instagram channel at Skull Nation YT. As always, follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Skull Nation YT. I'll see you guys after the draft.